Hey, what's going on, guys? This is AndrewChicken, and welcome back to another video. Valve has just released a massive update for Deadlock here that really shifts up a whole lot of things. Most notably, the map itself has changed in a very drastic way. And so in this video, I want to cover all the highlights of the update because there are a ton of changes in the patch notes, and you might not know what the most important stuff is at a glance. So I'm going to cover the highlights for you. First of all, the most obvious thing is the fact there is a massive map rework, and so I want to cover that up first. So if you want to explore the map by yourself without any bots or anything, previously you could do that, but you had to do it through entering console commands, and now there's just a button here on the play mode where you can explore the map. You can click on this, and it's basically similar to the sandbox that you would see previously, except it's just on the brand new map, and you can already tell immediately there's one very big change, and that is the fact that they have cut the lanes down from 4 to 3, which is a very, very big change. Now there are 3 duo lanes, instead of having 1 solo lane, 2 duo lanes in the middle, and then 1 solo lane on the other side. And this is a very, very big change, but we'll talk more about what this means for the game a little bit later on. First of all, going right through the patron there, let's take a look at the new map. So this center lane does kind of swerve around a little bit. You've got new walker positions, you've got new guardian positions, and here is previously where the museum was, which is where the mid-boss is. And the mid-boss is still here on this lane, it's just in the basement, in the subway, or wherever this place is. So you can kind of just find it. There's like a zip line here, and then it'll take you down here to this room, and then if you go down here, this is where the mid-boss is. So, yeah, quite the journey to get down here. There are also a ton of veils scattered throughout. I feel like there are generally more of those with this new map rework. And yeah, the map itself is just drastically different. It's going to take some getting used to. There are a few similar things. Hey, like this little jungle camp over here. This is basically the same. But yeah, you're going to have to do a lot of exploring for yourself to figure out everything that's changed on this map. And yeah, the yellow lane over here is particularly cool. The solo lanes haven't really changed that much. But yeah, there's just this giant freaking bridge here now that wasn't there previously, in progress, in the middle of construction. Looks really freaking sick. I don't think you can get up there, but it just adds a lot to the atmosphere, makes it feel a lot grander, like you're actually in the heart of a really, really big city. Although, yeah, the layout, as you can see here, is mostly identical to how it was previously. There are also these visual indicators for the Rejuvenator. These basically indicate where you can get access to the Rejuvenator. So, like, if you go in that elevator shaft there, or you go in here to the subway entrance, you will basically be able to enter where the mid-boss is at. Although, these definitely confused me when I first saw them, because they look like something you're supposed to be able to pick up, but if you walk into them, nothing happens. If you punch them, nothing happens. They're just an indicator, but they look like a pickup. It's a little bit of a strange decision, in my opinion. So, obviously, the map layout changing is by itself a very, very massive change because it's going to feel different to play on. Navigating the map is going to be different. There are different juke points now, so there are a ton of things that are going to feel different already from that. But also the fact that we are down to 3 lanes means a lot for the actual gameplay because, well, each lane is now a duo lane, meaning that you'll always have teamwork. You won't have to really pick 1v1s anymore, which for someone like me who enjoys 1v1s might feel worse, but I do think it's ultimately going to end up being a popular decision because I know there are probably a lot more people who don't like solo lane, so this will hopefully end up being pretty good for them. And yeah, also it means that the general pace of the game is going to be faster because there are fewer objectives to destroy. And I think that's a very big aspect that Valve is trying to improve with Deadlock here in this update, because you'll notice a lot of the changes are based around making the gameplay generally feel faster. So yeah, let's talk about the objectives. There are fewer of them, which obviously is going to make the game a little bit faster because you don't have to focus on doing as many things. They have, however, increased the health of the walkers, specifically not these tier 1 guardians here, but the walkers in the back. They've increased the HP generally on the side walkers as well as the mid walkers, and that'll balance the fact that there's 1 fewer walker to destroy, but in general, it should still be a faster and cleaner gameplay experience because you need to focus on doing fewer objectives at once. And also when it comes to flex slots, they have reduced the requirements from them, so you only need to get 2 guardians down instead of 3 in order to achieve your first flex slot. And also you just need to kill a single walker now to get your second flex slot, so it's going to be a lot easier to get those flex slots online, especially if you're coming from a point of weakness. All you need to do is have 1 successful push on a walker and you earn earn that flex slot immediately. On top of that, they have reduced the respawn time for small and mid neutral camps by 1 minute each. They reduced the amount of souls by 10% from all neutral souls, but the fact that they respawn faster, again, will improve the general tempo and pace of the gameplay. Because yeah, with these spawning 1 minute faster, 3 minutes down from 4 minutes, you're going to have just that many more opportunities to claim these souls. So yeah, this will make the game hopefully feel a lot more fluid. So yeah, these pacing changes will hopefully make the game feel a lot better to play, especially for those people who did complain about Deadlock matches taking too long. Another very major thing that they have changed that will affect the overall feel of the gameplay is that they've made it so you no longer need to last hit these minions in order to get souls. I did not touch that minion at all, and still I got 38 souls. And as my minions clear out these waves... Uh-oh, 2 of them just died. Oh, they're all dead. Oh no, come on, finish him. Yeah, there we go. You see, I get those 38 souls and I don't have to lift a finger. And this is going to mean that, especially in the early game, you'll be able to focus a lot more on fighting the enemies rather than just shooting these minions. Now, there will still be some cases where it's obviously beneficial to shoot the minions, you know, if you want to push forward a lane, or you have a big group of minions that are unstoppable running down a lane and you need to clear them out. There are still going to be instances where you need to shoot these guys, but you should need to shoot them a lot less, meaning you have more opportunities to focus on the actual satisfying PvP aspect of this game, because ultimately, that is a lot more enjoyable than just trying to secure these minions. On top of that, it is also a lot harder to steal souls from enemies, and that's because these orbs right here that come out will now expire a lot faster. And actually, you can see really just how quick that is. I mean, those are barely there at all. And I can barely steal them just like that. You gotta be really, really fast to steal it right now. Soul stealing is still a very important aspect of the game, but you're gonna have to be a lot faster at it, and overall it should be a lot easier to secure your own souls that you're trying to get, because the enemies will have less of a window of opportunity to take them. They have also buffed the sprint speed up to be slightly faster for every character, and they have also made it so that the sprint disable duration is drastically reduced when dealing with non-heroes. So it used to be that you would get locked out of sprinting for 5 seconds after taking damage or dealing damage to one of those minions, but now you see you get back to sprinting half a second after dealing with those guys. So you really are not going to get interrupted by that at all. Navigating the map should be faster, and they also slightly reduce it when dealing with heroes, although that's only down to 4 seconds from 5 seconds. These Sinner's Sacrifice boxes have also received a new mechanic, so they no longer grant a random golden statue buff. Instead, they now have a looping timing window where if you kill it with a heavy melee at the right time, you will receive 3 golden statue buffs. However, if you miss, you don't get that golden statue buff. And alternatively, a last hit with a light melee will only give you 1 golden statue buff. So, once you get it down low, you'll see this looping whole timing window thing. And once we get there, hit that, and yep, we get those 3 golden statue buffs just like that. So yeah, those are more lucrative, but they are also skill-based. You can't just be brain dead when punching them. You have to interact with the mechanic successfully in order to get those buffs online. They have also changed how the damage report works to make it much more helpful, as if it wasn't helpful enough already. So I'm going to die. Dun dun dun. Oh, no, Viscous! And yeah, you see on the damage report there that the Guardian has hit me 51 times, and it was reduced by my damage reduction by 51%, because I bought this bullet armor right here, improved bullet armor, that gives me 50% bullet resist. So we can see where my damage reduction is actively working. 76% damage reduction from the troopers, apparently. And also, you see that this damage report actually sticks now. It persists after I die. So previously, once you respawned, you would not be able to see the damage report from your previous life. That has been fixed. You have this last life, and if you click on Show More, you can see the incoming damage from the past 30 seconds. You can see it from your current life. You can see it from 10 minutes, 1 minute, whatever. So yeah, uh-oh, there's a bug! Oh no! Get off my screen! Oh. So yeah, this has generally drastically been improved, and that is really, really nice. You can also quick buy an entire category, so if you just right-click on the category name, you'll be able to basically queue all of these items up for the quick purchase system, which is very, very nice indeed, makes things even quicker. And you can also create builds here on the dashboard now, so in this build section of a character, you click that, and then you can edit the build from here. You don't have to do it in the sandbox anymore, which is quite a nice quality of life change. In general, they've done a lot of changes and bug fixes to try and make the UI better when you're buying items or creating builds, and of course the full list of those will be in the patch notes, which are linked in the description, but I've gone over the things that are most important there. On top of the map rework, as if that wasn't enough, they have also gone and updated a bunch of the visual and sound effects throughout the game. So you'll notice that many guns will sound slightly different, and you'll also notice that there are some different visuals for things as well, like these zip lines, which are now curved and have this new sort of wispy effect. Ooh, that's pretty spicy. And yeah, like Hayes' guns, I think, are one of the most obvious ones that sound very, very different, so I'll go ahead and show you what that sounds like. Yeah, they sound pretty different. There is also this new headshot sound effect, as opposed to just a regular body shot. And yeah, the guns are all going to just sound very different in this update. It'll definitely take a little bit of getting used to, but I do think they sound quite nice. So I'll put the full list of the heroes that have gotten these changes on the screen right now. I'm not going to cover every single one because some heroes only got changes and they aren't honestly that crazy different. But yeah, there are definitely a lot of visual and sound effects changes happening in this update. Of course, the hero that we absolutely need to talk about when it comes to visual and sound design changes is Abrams, because he has gotten a full model rework. We can take a look at that. He looks much, much better, much more detailed than he did previously. Honestly, I really, really like this rework. And yeah, they have completely gone the full 9 yards. They have given him all kinds of different things. New standing and crouch idles. They've given him new animations just in general, new shop UI animations, the whole kit and caboodle here for Abrams. He is feeling very different, very spruced up, and I'm here for it. I love it. I can't wait to see what they do for the rest of the cast once they eventually get around to them. They've also done a few changes to Bebop. Let's go over those. First of all, the uppercut will now only lock out player movement until the top of the launch arc, so once this guy gets to the top of the launch arc, he should be able to move relatively freely once again. Also, the bomb will generally be a bit more consistent to apply. It'll favor applying to the hook target for 1/4 of a second after hooking, and in general, there should be fewer errors that happen when you are trying to apply that sticky bomb, just like that. They've also updated his visual effects, and one thing they've done is they have changed the weapon to scale the beam's visual impact based on the DPS of the weapon. So, if we have no items, no level ups, the beam looks pretty weak. But then if we go ahead and buy a bunch of gun items and max level, whoa, look at that beam. It's a lot more solid, it looks a lot more powerful and devastating. Ultimately, it's not going to be super distracting, but it absolutely is going to look more powerful, and it's just a nice little quality of life sort of detail that you'll notice. Also, if you're playing on a team with Bebop, you'll no longer hear the successful hook sound effect whenever he hooks a minion in particular, so that way you don't try and turn around just to focus somebody, only to realize that, whoops, he missed and he hit a minion. That's embarrassing. Just like most characters, Great Talon has gotten some minor visual changes, most notably his Spirit Snare now has a much better visual effect when it triggers, just to make it clear that it's actually, you know, exploded on somebody. And also, his ultimate has gotten a slight functionality change that you'll notice repeated for a few other times throughout this patch for various things. When you are speed boosting his owl, you now do that with W instead of a left click, which I guess is going to be a bit more intuitive for some players. Also, I have a bug with Great Talon. I had a bug last patch with Great Talon where I was not able to press space to detonate the owl. And I basically had to press E to cancel to detonate the owl. And instead, this update, it seems that it's flipped, so now if I spam E, it doesn't detonate the owl, but then if I press space, now it does detonate the owl. So it seems like Great Talon still has some very weird bugs going on with how you detonate his ultimate versus what's displayed on the screen to actually detonate it. Not entirely sure what's going on there, or why it flipped for me in particular, but just thought I'd point that out. Holliday has some balance changes that are listed completely separately in the patch notes from her other changes. I don't know why they put them in 2 different spots, but let's cover the balance changes first. So the bounce pad's damage has been reduced from 120 to 90, the bounce pad tier 3 stun duration has been reduced from 1.25 to 1 second, and Spirit Lasso's damage has been reduced from 120 to 90. So in general, big nerfs to Spirit Holliday, which, I mean, she was a menace, so it makes a lot of sense that they would do this. Also, they have given her just a few changes when it comes to visual and sound design, but very important changes nonetheless. So first of all, she now has a cast bar on the HUD during the windup of Spirit Lasso, so you know when that projectile is going to go out, and you can have an easier time leading that projectile on somebody. Also, when you're in the air, you now have a looping sound effect. From this, you can hear that as I stay airborne. And that's just to let you know, with an audio cue, that you are going to explode when you hit the ground, so it's just to make that a little bit clearer. Infernus has also received the same treatment as Great Talon when it comes to speed boosting his Flame Dash. You now hold W for that instead of the left click. Very minor change, but honestly, it does feel quite natural to just hold W and go really fast, so I like it. For Kelvin, they have fixed the problem of AoE abilities going through the frozen shelter, meaning that it is just that much more impervious of an ice dome. Lady Geist got some minor changes. First of all, life drain is no longer cancelable, but if you're not draining life from an enemy, then it will no longer slow you down, which is pretty nice. They've also done some minor fixes to Soul Exchange, where there were generally some casting errors, and also for some reason would flash on the left side of HUD, so this ability should just be working a little bit better now. So, for Mirage, those fire scarabs will no longer cancel Magic Carpet. Yeah, apparently they were doing that before. Also, he's got some pretty nice new animations. They added simulation to his coattails, which is pretty cool. And also, I mean, check out this dodge roll. That's pretty sick. He's got some very cool custom animations now. I thought I'd point that out, even though I haven't been pointing out all of the animations and visual changes. I figured these were too cool to leave out. For Shiv, he got one kind of balance change, I guess. Slice and Dice is no longer cancelable, which is, of course, the dash. I don't play enough Shiv to know how impactful this really is, so you're going to have to tell me that in the comments section, but I thought I'd point it out anyways for the Shiv enjoyers in my chat. Now, Sinclair's gotten a lot of stuff this update. First of all, he has a much more appropriate weapon. He was carrying around a really bulky firearm, which never really made sense to me, and now he's got a magic wand which he shoots from. It feels much more appropriate. The animation feels a little stiff and weird, if you ask me, but they're making progress. I really do like the wand rather than the gun. It's so much better. And they have also gone through and updated the animations as well. The Spectral Assistant has updated VFX, and they've also done a lot of other bug fixes as well. So they fixed Sinclair keeping some passive bonuses from Still and Ultimates after they've been used. They fixed Enemy Mo and Krill getting buffs from copied ult. That's very silly. And they also fixed an issue if both Sinclair and Enemy Mo and Krill are using their ultimates at the same time. When one ended, both would end. Just some really weird stuff going on there. They also added a warning sound for Sinclair's Rabbit Hex when placed, so that way you can hopefully dodge it just a little bit better. A lot of fixes for Sinclair, and I love this new wand. It's just so nice. Very big bug fix for Vindicta. You will no longer be stuck zoomed in like this if you tried to use Assassinate while getting stunned or silenced, which I think has happened to me a few times. It's not fun. Can we get an F in the chat for Viscous? Oh, they reworked everyone's heavy melee visual effect, and in doing so, they have gotten rid of the special goofus that Viscous had when he would wind up a heavy hit. It looks like a normal heavy hit now. What the heck, Valve? Why are we removing that? That was so fun. Man, I want it to come back. I missed it already. Also, they said in the patch notes that Gooball's Go Fast has been updated from M1 to W by default. However, it still looks to be left click anyways, which is strange. I don't know why that's the case. Maybe they went back on it. But yeah, that's a little bit weird. They also have fixed a very weird bug that I actually encountered the other day, where Viscous can actually kill his teammates when they're coming out of the cube. Huh? Yeah, I'll try and pull up the footage on the screen. Hopefully I'm able to find the clip, but I killed a Dynamo player on my team with the cube. I have no idea what happened. I put the cube on him, I got out of dodge, I was trying to save his life, he did ultimately end up dying, and I got the kill. What? It made absolutely no sense. I was so confused by it at the time. And yeah, apparently, no, that was a phenomenon that Valve knew about, and they have fixed it. Vyper, like most other characters, has gotten new gun sound effects. Just like that. Sounds pretty nice. And also, she has gotten a lot of new content when it comes to her voiceover. And so that's why I'm pointing it out, because she's gotten a fair bit more than most other characters when it came to this update. And also, Petrifying Bulla has new sound effects to make it clearer when you get a direct hit. So if I miss, that's what it sounds like. But then if I hit, ooh, that is beefy. Nice. So you get that really solid feedback there. And like I said, there are a lot of characters this update that got minor visual or sound effect changes, and the ones that I didn't cover just weren't really important or impactful enough to put into the video. The full list is on screen now if you want to go check them out, but they're really, really minor and not that important. However, when it comes to the items, there are a lot of very impactful visual and sound design changes. They are generally focusing on improving the feedback of a lot of items, as well as making them generally fit into the world just a little bit better. So first of all, active reload now plays a sound when you're entering the active window, just like this. So, just a little bit clearer when you should actually press R to reload. Arcane Surge also has an activation sound. Just like that. Debuff Remover has added cast and buff sounds, just like this. Ooh, fancy. Fortitude has effect revisions. Healing Right also has some of the biggest changes, I think, of the update when it comes to item visuals. It now looks a lot more spiritual and mystic, as opposed to being really modern, which is how it previously looked, and they actually specifically said they wanted it to look less modern, so this is how it looks now. Knockdown also has updated visual effects. Still looks pretty similar to the old Knockdown, though, in my opinion. Magic Carpet also has a bug fix that caused the ambient sound to not loop properly. Majestic Leap, though, has some really big changes, because it has new sounds that differentiate it from Holliday's Bounce Pad. Previously, they were both using the same sound effects, and now... yeah, it's different. It does not sound like Holliday's Launchpad at all. That is very, very nice. Mystic Reverb has the area of effect now properly apply the intended slow debuff, and also Quicksilver Reload now has a sound when it procs. Just like that. So yeah, boom, got my clip reloaded just like that. Very nice. Rescue Beam also got some fixes. They fixed the UI prompt getting stuck when moving too far away from the other player, and also fixed heroes sometimes getting dropped to the ground when they run to the effective Rescue Beam. Should feel a lot better to use now. Surge of Power also has new added proc and end sounds. So we press the button here. You hear it activate. However, I don't think the end sound effect works. Wait for it to expire, and yeah, you just don't hear anything, so I think that one's only partially working. Spellslinger Headshots now keeps the Soul Shredder passive buff, so this is just a little bit stronger now. Spirit Snatch now has new visual effects, and also Torment Pulse has a new added proc sound, which you're going to hear here as I get close to Abrams. Yeah, pretty subtle, but it's there, and yeah, if we go ahead and do the Spirit Snatch, you see that new visual effects just like that, so that is pretty nice. And also they fixed a rare case where the cooldown was displaying incorrectly. Tesla Bullets has effect revisions, and Veilwalker, finally as our last item here, has new visual effects, and they added a proc sound. Ooh, spooky! Whoa, that's pretty cool. Valve have also improved controller support by adding Switch Pro default configs, and they've also improved localization by adding Japanese localization support and fixing a number of other issues regarding localization. So that's all fantastic, and there are also a ton of bug fixes that are just kind of miscellaneous that I'll have listed on the screen here. I looked through them, and none of them seem so impactful that I need to single them out, but the game should generally feel a lot better thanks to these bug fixes. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video, so let me know what you think about the brand new Deadlock update in the comments section down below. Let me know in particular what you think about the big changes to the map. The fact that there are only 3 lanes now, every lane is a duo lane, the generally faster pace of gameplay, the fact that souls are harder to steal, all of this stuff is very interesting. They are really shaking things up, and they are trying out some brand new things here in the early access, which, hey, that's what the early access period is for at the end of the day, right? Trying out some big changes, seeing what works and what doesn't. So yeah, let me know all your thoughts in the comments section down below. Make sure to like this video if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.